Hi Joe N9OK, this is Max NG7M, and you're getting a custom video here. I probably should read through the whole thread, but I guess I got everything working. I have a K3 with the KIO3B, right, the USB interface, and I have a K3S, which of course comes with the KIO3B. And if I'm understanding it right, which I'm an FSK guy, as we already talked in the email, but you want to use AFSK, a single cable, right? The USB cable to your K3 with the upgraded KIO3B, and you just want to do RTTY without any external PTT or any of that kind of stuff. So one single USB connection, you want to transmit and receive AFSK. I was able to set it up and get it working on both radios. It didn't matter if it was the K3S or the K3. What I have going right here, you're seeing on the video, this is my K3 with the KIO3B, so this matches your setup. So, I mean, just a couple of things. This may be laborious here, but you know, the data mode. So you'll see my finger over here. So if you go to the data mode, let's just go manually into the radio first. The data mode should be in AFSK A at 45 BPS. I mean, that's pretty obvious there. The pitch, if you hold the pitch button in, and I'm not sure if this matters completely, but I like the lower tones. So I set it on 915 mark and a 170 hertz shift tone. And then you'll want to go in to the configuration menu and turn on and use your lowest transmit filter for AFSK. So you can just go to, I mean, I kid you not, after all these years, this is the first time I've done AFSK. Let's see, right here, AFSK filter on. That defaults to off. Turn that on. It'll use your lowest configured filter for transmit to, you know, narrow your signal. So, for example, I've got the resolution here low so I could get the video uploaded quickly for you. So if I go into the configurator, Elecraft configurator here, I've got to be careful here to keep track of what you're seeing here. See, so now this is off screen because I normally have a 4K monitor going here. So here, let me get this on screen. Let's see. Come on. There we go. Right, so if I go into the configuration, oh, I can't connect right now. Anyway, you can just go in on the configuration and see what your lowest filter setting is for data modes. That's not a big deal. It has nothing to do with what we're doing here, but I just thought I'd mention it. I've got another piece of software talking to the K3. I won't worry about that for now. But for me to test this, I always go to MMTTY as the default, kind of the baseline here. So what I did was I created a directory here, and hang on a second.
Okay, I'm gonna go take Trixie.
Okay.
For a walk.
Okay. All right. I'm recording, so not a big deal. Okay. That was my wife. Let's see here. So what I did was I copied a clean directory for MMTTY. So I've got ham radio MMTTY, and I created a directory called MMTTY AFSK. Okay. So I came in here, and the first thing I did, I'll just go through the menus, right? If I go to the settings, options, set up MMTTY, and I have the ham default set to 915/170. So the auto frequency adjustment's going to tweak that a little bit here. But anyway, set these to both 915/170 or to 2150 or whatever the tones you want. Just make sure that both those match. I didn't touch any of these other settings for now. I mean, there are other settings to tweak, but just to get this going. Here's the second tab. You want this shift on fixed. Automatic frequency control, you can turn on and off depending on if you're running or pouncing. You know all this stuff. The decode, I didn't touch anything here. For transmit, I've got PTT and FSK to none. Right, everything's turned off here. And mark on shift should be checked. I mean, These are just common settings. I bumped up the font. Miscellaneous, I've got transmit port sound. Nothing too crazy here. I'm using the internal sound card on the, you'll want to do this on the sound settings. Go to the sound control panel. And you want a multiple of whatever the bit rate is on the recording, right, when you're listening to the audio. Microphone USB codec, that's the internal KIO3B. And I've got advanced, I've got it on 2-channel 16-bit 4800 hertz. I mean, that's, you want a multiple of 12,000 here, because in MMTTY anyway, right, you want 12,000 hertz, which is a multiple of 48 hertz, and you're going to get the best decode based upon the sound card. Okay, that shouldn't have anything to do with the problems you're having either. And then over on sound card, I just have the reception set to microphone USB codec, and I've got the transmission set to USB codec. That's it, man. And so I have on the radio, you can see on the front panel, if VOX is on right now. If I turn VOX off right now and I try to go into transmit, I'm not going to transmit. And I really need to make sure, let me make sure I don't have the amplifier on. Hang on a second. Just going to make sure I'm in standby here, and I am. So let's see. Okay, so now if I key the transmitter directly in MMTTY, it's not going to key because I don't have VOX on. Right, so it's, the sound card is outputting, you know, based upon the speaker output of the sound card in effect, is outputting the RTTY signal. But because I don't have VOX turned on the radio, it's not going to key the radio. So if I hold in, turn on VOX over here, so now you can see VOX came on the radio. You know, VOX is off. It's on PTT. VOX is now on. If I click transmit, it's going to key the radio. And you're going to hear the diddle. So you're in business. So now let me pull up a, let's see if I can pull up a, just so we can tune into some. And if we tune into somebody, I don't. I'm just doing a whirlwind here. Anyway, I mean, I could turn the. So there I'm decoding KM7SS right there. I'm using the CWT to tune just on the radio. I could pull up a spectrum display. So I mean, you see we're decoding here. Everything's great. So now let's actually work somebody. Just to show you inside N1MM, I'll go through the settings there. I mean, I went through all the settings here. You should be set in MMTTY. I'm going to shut down MMTTY. Now I'm going to pull up, all my windows are going to be wacky here because I lowered the resolution. So now I'm going to N1MM. It's going to be really wacky here. Wow, wow, okay. So here I've got a spectrum window going. That's a whole nother story. I'm using Winfrey K3 Suite. Click up here, go to. So here I just clicked on that spot there. I'm going to close these windows, just get things out of the way. I've got the packet cluster going. I've got to resize everything here. Here's the decode window. See, I clicked on WA3ZSC, right? We're decoding him. Just for fun, let's work him right now. I'm actually going to work him. Transmitted 1500 watts. Just called him. He just came back. 26. The time is 1707. Sending my exchange. So I just wanted to demo that it's totally working transmitting. AFSK A, K3, KIO3B. So we worked him. So now I'll go into the setup of N1MM. I want to configure the ports. Turn down the AF there, so I don't have to listen to that. Okay, just to be clear here, on the hardware I have the K3 set up. There's nothing to do with PTT set up here. And COM10 is my WinKeyer. So, I mean, it's not in the equation. If I go to digital modes, I have digital interface 1 as a sound card, and then I set the MMTTY path to that version of MMTTY I showed you earlier. I have AFSK selected here. I just clicked all the AFSK buttons. I mean, this doesn't matter. But, I mean, that's it, right? I mean, that's it. On mode control in N1MM, you want it to automatically kick the K3 into the AFSK mode. So I came in here and I set the mode set to the radio. So when for RTTY, when you go to RTTY and N1MM, it's going to automatically kick the K3 into AFSK A data mode. Okay, so I'll click OK here. I mean, there's nothing else to do. In the digital sound card interface, like if I close this, so I close the digital interface, go to the window, pull up the digital interface. If I go to setup on the digital interface, you can see all the settings here. You can pause this. Default RTTY interface is MMTTY. Nothing's set up here. It's all just MMTTY. There's no PTT going on here or anything. So I can get out of there. Interface, select MMTTY, and the decode window's off the screen somewhere. Let me see if I can move that up. It's way down here somewhere. There it is. Again, I changed my resolution. See, so here's the MMTTY screen. We can work somebody again. Click on IK4ZIF. See if I can hear him. A4DD. I can't even remember which way I've got my antenna pointed. Yeah, I pointed kind of at Europe here. Or we can just tune somebody in. Anyway, just to see, so you can see, I mean, you're getting covered up here. Some of this stuff is getting covered up down below because of my windows. Anyway, completely random. Was this N5KWN? So the data mode is still, so there's AFSK A. And I'm all over the place here. K9NR, calling K9NR. Anyway, he's working N5KWH. I mean, you can see that it's keying the radio. I mean, everything's in, it's AFSK. Even Elecraft is showing AFSK up here, right there. Here, we'll call him. I guess K9NR was calling him. Is he working somebody else? I think he called me. Anyway, I'm confused. I'll go through the settings on MMTTY. This is the same instance I configured earlier. Here's the demodulator tab. Here's this tab, TX, font window, miscellaneous, clocks 1200, multiple of 4800 hertz for the sound card microphone USB codec, speakers USB codec. So those are all the settings there. I'll go back through these. And yep, so just make sure I went through those again. I'm not covering up with the other video windows. So here's the configurator window. Pull this up so you can see everything here. Here's the hardware, function keys, digital modes. Goes to that path I was directly running MMTTY in. WinKeyer, mode, antennas, score, reporting. I mean, I think I've covered it all. There's no reason it shouldn't work for you, unless you got something defective, I guess. So, something's not right. Anyway, Joe, I hope it's N9OK. I hope you figure it out. Or if I'm completely out in left field, I did not devour that thread, but I'm basing it upon the, some of the discussions. You just want to do AFSK with VOX to key the radio. Well, here it is. It's working. Maybe I missed something out. Anyway, hope this helps. Bye.